Moral injury. What is it? Well, moral injury is when something shatters your sense of right and wrong. And what is right and wrong? You see, none of the malignant narcissists and potentially none of the emotionally stunted people at this church know right from wrong. That's why anally raping babies is normal for them. It is not normal for regular human beings. You people are weird, but it's also why you come off as disingenuine. Um, Moral injury is the profound psychological, social, spiritual distress resulting from an action or inaction that distransgresses deeply held moral beliefs and expectations. It causes intense shame, guilt, betrayal, often leading to self-shaming behavior, social withdrawal, depression, instinct from fear-based PTSD. Part of this is institutionalization and learned hopelessness. Uh, Acts commission doing something that goes against your beliefs. They forced me to violate every moral I had, and once again, even the therapy guys and stuff took that like a joke, and they take it like a joke because they themselves are forced to do that. The difference between me and them is I drew everything. This isn't a joke. Uh, I drew all my strength, my hope, my courage, my power from my strength of character. Yeah, my strength of character. And that is where your morals lead you. When you believe you have a strong strength of character, you don't have delusion that you've done anything wrong, so you don't believe you actually deserve punishment for anything. Um, and yes, good things happen to bad people. But we're not even going to get on to that because it's just a waste of everybody's fucking time. When I was in court the first time and I was able to speak out and just say whatever the fuck I wanted, I didn't have a bunch of baggage about a bunch of horrible things I did, like hiring assassins and killing people and running a massive human trafficking ring. Okay. Uh, and in my shadow self, the side that stops me from doing anything, it doesn't believe I deserve anything, treatment like a hero, and once again, what were the therapy guys pushing? Heroes, heroes, heroes. Something I can never be because of what they made me do. That is what that is what the moral injury looks like. But the death of the strength of character is something that is way more disturbing. Because it was one of the things that Anal Eaten Mummy God himself spoke about. He said, the one reason Stu couldn't beat me or anybody else could beat me is I had a strong strength of character. People just ornately met me and knew I was a good person and I didn't deserve to be killed by religious crazies. And he told me that that strength of character makes me perfect for this role. I don't think he knew that you guys destroyed that. And I hold you to account for it. And I hold the Mimifist in contempt for it. I will never be okay, as far as I'm concerned. But I remember Anal Eaten Mummy God's advice on it was, don't let the bad things break you. Keep it like a challenge. The way you people behave, like, even this dude up at the 7-Eleven over here, he is just so disingenuinely fake when he's pretending to be happy, you just want to smash his fucking head with a hammer. When you people come around me, the reason I can see through you is just because you're so disingenuine. Okay? And it is because you have learned that emotions and everything else are forms of manipulation and they have to be controlled. They have to be under this thing or under that thing, and you have the emotionally stunted primal brain where normal people are like, exercise restraint, don't punch that guy, and that demonstrates that you have self-control. You go punch that guy and establish boundaries and feel elation. Let me tell you something that really confuses me. When I went down there and broke that window, I didn't feel elation, I fell into a depression. And I want to know exactly why that is, but my theory is it's the ADHD brain. But this video could go on for hours. about how the ADHD brain isn't designed to handle fear and how trauma compounds that and how all these things to somebody that was putting this thing together, and I guess that shit like Anal Mummy God said it was impossible. I 100% agree with him that it was impossible. Because of the psychological side of things. The whole shadow self thing was probably extremely toxic, but it's funny that all these guys that look, saying that it's a self-confidence issue is laughable. It is laughable to say that the problem I have is a self-confidence issue. It is retardedly like any real psychologist would tell you to get the fuck out of the house. They would tell you this. Oh, saying it's a self-confidence issue. Saying it's a self-confidence issue is an overgeneralization, the move of a narcissist. Oh, what's wrong with him is this simple thing. If only he had more self-confidence. If only he had this little thing. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. One, trust is a massive thing. One of the things that shattered my world is the realization that everybody around me was helping these people. Everybody. Like, the only thing I think everybody around me needs to do is go kill themselves. Okay, I don't know how you can be such a piece of shit, but whatever, man. I never operated with Stu or backed down against Stu when he was making fucking threats. I guess everybody else on the fucking planet's a goddamn pussy. Fucking everybody that's helped these people, you should all be ashamed. You should all be so fucking ashamed that you should go find a payphone somewhere and turn yourselves into the FBI and tell them what you did to help these bastards. That's how ashamed you should feel. Whatever. I can't tell you what to feel. Which is the foundation. Moral injury destroys confidence, shattering the internal moral compass, which is the foundation of how you judge yourself and your ability. Unlike fear-based trauma and PTSD, which makes you doubt physical safety, moral injury makes you doubt your character and right to exist. I've been doing that the entire time. Doubting my character and my right to exist. That is what a moral injury is, and I mentioned this earlier. And this agitates me to no end, because this is a psychological thing, okay? And this is that stupid shit, do it yourself. That's not how anything works, you dumbass. Okay. This is the important aspect, and this is why Blondie doesn't deserve my glory. No, neither does any bastard in this church. Because you don't know right from wrong. You don't know right from wrong. And I know I can already hear it in my head. I do! You don't. You don't. In your head, it's the same thing. That is what makes you so dangerous. That is why you can never understand anybody. That is why you're wrong about everything, but somehow believe you're right, and then you project it into the world, and when it doesn't go your way, you make it happen. Okay? Any other stupid fuck would have learned how to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. But yeah. So, I'm glad that we understand what a moral injury is, and how my problem isn't a lack of self-confidence, it's the destruction of self-character. You wouldn't believe how much, I guess, I prided myself on my character as a person. Genuinely just wanting to be a good person and proving that being a good person can win. And then suddenly I was turned into an awful person. By awful people who continuously believe they're one and the same. I want to talk about Carl Jung's integration and Friedrich Nietzsche's retardation. Integration is the recognition that you can do these things, guided by a moral compass. This is a distinction between Carl Jung and Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche, because he suffered from ego inflation, had to go and prove he could do it. He couldn't accept he could do it. He had to go and prove he could do it. There's this part in the Matrix video game where you have this upgrade where Neo pulls out a spoon, but he doesn't bend it. He just pulls it out, looks at it, and then it just says, "Knowing you can bend the spoon is enough to bend the spoon." That is Carl Jung's point of view. Friedrich Nietzsche's, "I know I can do it, so then I have to do it to prove it to my ego." Stupid. That is the real thing I've been struggling with. It's taken me a minute to start double back to it because I discovered it before, but I didn't think it was a real issue. But it's probably one of the bigger issues. Once again, hopelessness. Where does it come from? I wasn't 100% sure. Now I know. It's the death of my strength of character. Yeah.